Hello everyone and welcome back to Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and today we're going to be talking about not only capsule wardrobes but how we can make the most of our pattern stashes. So we're going to be talking about how we can create an entire capsule using only count them, three patterns. And I've actually done a little cheating. I have made a capsule for like a more casual wardrobe and one for a more work appropriate wardrobe. So we're going to be talking that through. Let's kind of start at the beginning though, a little bit about, I talk a lot about capsule wardrobe sewing here on the channel, and I want to kind of talk a little bit about that and maybe the importance that you may want to place on, especially if you're someone that is trying to save, who's not trying to save money right now, but especially if you're someone that's wanting to make the most out of your current pattern stash and get the biggest bang for your buck while you're doing that. And I've got a sale to share with you as well that's actually happening right now. So that's kind of where the inspiration for this came from. So when we are talking about capsule wardrobes, I like to build things in modules. And I'm not the one that came up with this idea. This is Christy Russell. She is a stylist. She's not a seamstress, but a stylist. And the way that she builds capsule wardrobes for her clients is that she builds them in these modules, which consists of 3 tops, 2 bottoms, and then a layering piece, a topper. I like to throw a fourth category, I guess, 7th piece as a one piece, whether that be a jumpsuit or a dress, because I really do enjoy wearing those. Anyway, that is how she builds, and then she'll put, one module, because you can make, with her formula, if you take out the dress, you can make 6 outfits out of one module, and then you add a second module that goes with the first, and then all of a sudden you've got, it's like 100 out. It like exponentially, like way jumps to where 3 modules, you've got your entire, summer wardrobe or your entire fall wardrobe or whatever the case may be easily. Now, capsule wardrobes can work really, really great if you're someone that wants to be a little bit more of a minimalist wearer or sewist or whatever the case may be. They work really, really great for that. I am not a minimalist. I am a maximalist. But what I love about them, I just have multiple modules or little capsule wardrobes in my wardrobe. But what I find really helpful about them is that it just makes a really cohesive closet. So I don't have anything in my closet that only goes with one thing. So I don't have any pairs of pants that only go with one top. I have pants that, all of my pairs of pants can go with multiple tops in my wardrobe, and then additional outfits can be built by throwing on a jacket or a layering piece, a cardigan, vest, whatever the case may be there, or even using that with a dress. Everything is mix and match in my wardrobe. Now, a few ways that I also achieve this is that I also sew in a color palette and shop in a color palette. I have had my colors professionally done. That is the color palette I work from. My season is a copper spring. I had my colors done by Color Guru. I do have a coupon. Tomcat Color gets you 10% off any of their packages if you're interested. But even if you don't believe in that or want to be restricted by, what your correct colors are, your best colors might be, I still highly recommend using some sort of color palette, something that you put together. It just makes it very easy that all your pieces are going to go together if they're in a harmonious color palette. So that is kind of my soapbox. Again, I've talked about this a ton, but it just makes a very cohesive closet, makes it very easy to get dressed, very easy to build outfits and have a lot of fun in your wardrobe. The second component of that is some TNT patterns. What does TNT stand for? That means tried and true. So these are patterns that fit you well. They know you look great. A lot of times they may be a little bit more, it depends on your style, but a little bit more simple in nature to where you can easily mix and match. So maybe a favorite t-shirt pattern, a favorite, dress pattern, a favorite dream pattern, whatever the case may be. Having a little collection of those that fit you great. This is also great for pulling you out of a sewing rut. Going back to a tried and true pattern that fits you really well can really help increase that sojo, just as a little side point. But having a good collection of patterns that are silhouettes you really love to wear, again, that the pattern fits you nicely. It just makes sewing a lot easier, but also building your wardrobe. And then, maybe you branch out on a few exciting things or maybe a new thing that you really want to try. Because I'm also a big proponent of trying new things, even if you think it's not something that's going to suit you, still going outside the box a little bit. That is the best way to keep your wardrobe looking fresh and not dated. On that note, so, okay, how do you get your TNT patterns? Like, how do you find those patterns that you just really love to wear? You know, maybe you're getting stuck on that step. I actually have a class that I offer on my website, a mini course called Finding Patterns for Your Body Shape. It is a very basic little class, but the whole premise of the class is ways that you can find 1, 2, 3 pattern companies that fit you better than others. So, very rarely is there going to be a pattern company that's going to fit you completely without any alterations at all. But the idea behind this class is you're going to be able to identify a couple of pattern companies that are going to need less alterations just to make life a little bit easier for you. Does that mean you can't wear other pattern companies? Absolutely not. For instance, Seamwork Patterns dress for someone that is 5'9". I am 5'2". Does that mean I never sew Seamwork Patterns? No, I actually sew Seamwork Patterns quite a bit. There's just a couple more alterations I have to do to adjust for my own personal height. They do draft for a larger cup size, which really works well for me, and that means I don't have to adjust my cup size. So yeah, the whole idea of this class is just kind of helping you pick and choose maybe some pattern companies to try that might fit you a little bit easier right out of the box. That being said, I highly recommend identifying a couple of those pattern companies and then sewing some of their patterns so that you can identify in that pattern range, okay, these are the 4 pattern alterations that I need to make. I always need to make a sloping shoulder adjustment, and I always need to raise the waist an inch, whatever the case, might be for your own personal body. Because once you have, in a pattern company, identified those fit adjustments you need to make, 90% of the time, they go across their entire pattern catalog. Not always, but about 90% of the time. If in this pattern company, for instance, Seamwork Patterns, I know that I need to raise the waist an inch and then take an additional 2 inches off the length. I just know I always need to do that. So once you do that, you can get away without having to do so many trial garments, and you have more success in the patterns that you do make. So one of the pattern companies for me, and I probably have 4 or 5 that are kind of my go-to pattern companies just because they fit me really easily right out of the packet. I know these are the couple of things that I need to do for these pattern companies, and they're pretty minimal, so it makes it quicker and a little bit, I guess, more fun because I don't have to do as much futzing with it to get it to look well. And most of the time I'll make that garment, provided that I've picked my fabric correctly and it's a silhouette that I end up liking on my body, I'm good to go. And then, I don't have to do any kind of test garments. But one of those pattern companies for me is Cashmerette Patterns. So they're having a sale right now and this whole week, and it is buy 2 patterns from their regular collection. So this is just any pattern, you go to their website, any of the patterns that are there, you buy 2, you get the 3rd free, no coupon necessary. And it is for their paper patterns and their digital patterns. And if you're in the US, if you spend over $100, it's free shipping for US only. But there's no coupon necessary. It's just added at the cart for both of those things. But worldwide, if you're wanting to buy digital patterns or printed patterns, it is buy 2, you get the 3rd free, which is a really great deal. So we're going to be going through, I picked Cashmerette just because that is, again, a pattern company that is really easy for me. Now, the sale does not include their club. However, I just want to give a quick little plug. I do have a coupon code for their club. Tomcat10 gets you $10 off the all access tier of their club. The reason I'm plugging this is that their club patterns, a lot of their club patterns are mix and match patterns with collection patterns. So for instance, the Irving dress, which is a dress that's in the club, it can be mixed and matched with skirts and bodices of the Grafton. The Grafton knit dress is in the regular collection. There's quite a few of those. There's quite a few tops that you can mix and match sleeves and stuff on across club and collection patterns, which is something that I really love. I have had the all access tier that I paid for with my own money, almost since the beginning, and I find so much value in that. So that's just another side. If you're looking for ways to extend more into your patterns or, even get, a few more ideas, that sort of thing. I find the club to be great bang for my buck personally. There's also, you get a new pattern every month, but there's also a whole bunch more. There's classes, there's all sorts of events that they host that you can get for free if you're that all access tier. So just a little side note there. Okay, let's get into the 3 patterns. And again, I've picked a casual, capsule, and then more of a workwear. So for the casual, we're going to start off with a top. So I have gone with the Vernon shirt. Why the Vernon shirt? I love a button-up shirt. It is one of my favorite things. I just find them very versatile. Not only can you wear them as a top, and it's really easy to change up the sleeves. Sleeve hacking on a fitted sleeve, not fitted, this isn't really a fitted sleeve, but it's a sewn in into the arm side, sew in sleeve. It's a lot of fun. And there's 2 sleeve options with the Vernon. You've got this really fun bell sleeve, or you've got just the standard cuff with a really pretty bias placket that's on there. The cuff is a small one, but I have actually taken the large cuff that goes with the lantern sleeve and put it on the regular sleeve, and it works just fine. You may want to shorten the regular sleeve just a little bit because it's taller than the smaller cuff, but you can absolutely switch those out and use those interchangeably. I've done it. But the other reason that I really like a good button-up shirt is that not only can it be worn as a shirt, you can be tied up, it can be worn tucked in, it can be worn oversized and untucked, but you can also wear it as a topper. So you can wear it as a jacket depending on the fabric you use. I also love about a button-up shirt is the difference in the type of shirt depending on your fabric. So if you're using something with a bit more drape, such as a rayon challis, a rayon crepe, you're going to get a much more flowy effect, more of a blouse, if you will. Versus if you're using something with a little bit more structure, such as a cotton shirting, a cotton lawn, even a cotton poplin, like a quilting cotton, you can get a much more structured tailor shirt. Just kind of depends on the look you're going for, but I love a button-up shirt, and it is going to pair marvelously with the new Everett pants and shorts. Another great bang for your buck. Elastic waist. If you're someone that struggles with fluctuating waistlines, which I know in my, not even so much the health issues I've got, but more my demographic of my age, fluctuating waistlines is a thing and a real problem. And I love a good elastic waist. And I'm so glad that they're so in style right now. You see them everywhere, whether it's just elastic in the back or full elastic waist. I just find them so incredibly comfortable. I have been wearing my Everett shorts nonstop. I'm wearing them a ton. And they're a navy and white gingham. It's not even like really, boring, but like a plain color. I've been wearing them a ton. My daughter's requested a pair. I have a pair of pants as well, and I also have a sew along on the channel for this pattern if you're interested. But I've not worn the pants as much just because it's been very warm and I just haven't been wearing pants at all. But the orange pants are absolutely coming into my wardrobe when the weather starts to calm down a little bit. And we are going to get into like the low to mid 70s, I think, here in the next week or so, which is fantastic news. I don't know that it'll stay there, but I'm going to grab it. And that could definitely be a weather appropriate for the pants. This pattern calls for light to medium weight woven fabrics. So you could make this in a lighter weight denim, like a 6-ounce denim. They would be wonderful in that. A chambray, lovely in that. Whether you're making the pants or the shorts. Gets a little bit colder outside. You could even do these in a wool suiting if you wanted to. I would throw maybe an interlining or a lining just to make sure that they aren't getting scratchy if you're someone that's a little sensitive to wool. But you could absolutely use a wool or a wool blend suiting weight fabric for these pants as well. Rayon twill or viscose twill or tinsel twill, lyocell twill. Any of that would work really beautifully as we go into the colder months as well. So many options with that pant and very comfortable. It's got full pockets on it. It comes with the optional belt, so you could tuck things in, you could leave them untucked, whatever the case may be. Really, really great pattern. So that is one bottom. We're going to talk about how we're going to pair all these here at the end. And then the third pattern that I'm going to suggest is the Grafton knit dress. This pattern has so much bang for your buck. So you've got a ton of skirt options that can go with a ton of different bodice options to make a dress. Also, all of the skirts can be made as skirts, just plain old skirts. And there's an option for all the different necklines that are available in this knit pattern. You can make them into just t-shirts. So there's so many options. Your entire knit wardrobe could basically be made from this one pattern. This is definitely one that I would grab if I were you. If I were doing, I actually own all these patterns, so I won't be buying any of these, but because I already own them. But I would absolutely do that with the Grafton dress. Such good bang for your buck. All right, so let's talk about how this now relates to our modules. So like I mentioned, 3 tops for a module. 3 tops, 2 bottoms, 1 topper, and 1 dress of some sort, if we're going by my formula. So for the tops, I would do 1 Vernon in a solid. I think I would go with a, in my personal preference, I would want something a little bit more structured, and I would wear it as a jacket as well as a shirt. And I am thinking, okay, this is gonna be like a transitional wardrobe in my head. So we're going from summer into fall, or that fall where it's still kind of warm. So for my Vernon, I would choose like a chambray, a cotton chambray, something in a denim color that is gonna go with everything, that again was gonna look just as good tucked into things as it would opened up, you know, like as a men's style shirt, or yeah, tucked in, or as a jacket. So using this as a topper, I would make the sleeves with the larger cuff. That's just my own preference, although the small cuff is really, really sweet. But I would do the larger cuff to make this more of a menswear inspired button-up shirt. So that would be top number 1. For top number 2, definitely a t-shirt. I wear t-shirts all the time. So I would do something with a sleeve and maybe one of the, like the scoop neckline or maybe the V neckline. And I think I would use, go with maybe like a stripe. I love a good stripe, and something like in my color palette, like a red and white stripe or maybe a navy and white stripe, I think would be really, really beautiful. And I would probably do, there's many different sleeve options with this pattern, but I feel like maybe for a transitional, maybe I would go like a 3/4 length sleeve, like a fitted sleeve, maybe 3/4. I don't think I would go long sleeve, maybe short sleeve. It would either be a short sleeve or a 3/4. And again, the scoop neck or maybe the V-neck, something very simple in the fitted t-shirt. And then for my 3rd top, I think I would pick a solid knit, but do maybe the more cropped version and one of the more stylized necklines, and sleeveless, obviously, because I'm gonna make it a tank. So maybe like the square neckline. I love the square neckline. I love the shape of the square neckline on me, the way that Grafton works. So I would do the sleeveless, but with the square neckline in a solid. So depending on the color palette I'm going with, maybe it's a solid navy, maybe it's a solid red, or maybe it's even a solid cream, something maybe along those lines. So those would be my 3 tops that I would be making for this imaginary module. For my bottoms, I think what I would do is I would do the Everett pants in the same fabric that I'm making my Vernon out of. So I basically got a set. So the same chambray lightweight denim, I would do the Everett pants in. And I think I would go ahead and do the belt and the belt loops, giving myself the option of wearing things tucked in or over. Like I could just not wear the belt and wear a shirt over it. Or I could tuck things in, or in the essence of that, crop top, I say crop, none of my belly is not going to be hanging out. It's just the idea is that it sits at the top of my pants. Just want to be clear. But then I've got a really easy outfit there, and I could wear the belt, I could not wear the belt. So all the shirts would go very easily, and it would look like almost like a jumpsuit, really, with that button-up shirt either open over either the t-shirts, or I could tuck it in for a one piece as well. And then for the skirt, I think I would do a skirt. You could do shorts as well, but I think I would do a skirt, and I think it would be the Grafton, and I would make it in the same fabric that I'm making my little cropped top out of. So I basically have, it could be a dress, or it could be the 2 separate pieces. So if I've gone with a red spandex jersey, I would do the skirt in a red as well as the crop top, same fabric. And I think for the skirt, there are a few different options, actually quite a few different options. So you could go with more, I mean, there's actually a ton of options. You could go for more of the straight skirt, like a pencil skirt, if that's more your vibe. But I feel like for this transitional season, right now I'm feeling more of flowy skirts. So I think I would do maybe the circle skirt and make that as a just the skirt. I think it would look really cute with the striped top, as well as I could tuck in that button-up shirt or wear it with that crop top and it looks like a dress. And then, like I said, for the topper, it's going to be, I could just wear the Vernon as the topper, or I could make an additional Vernon, maybe size up one and make it a little bit more shackety if I wanted to, which would be fine. And I think I would do a solid again and maybe a lighter color, like maybe a cream color or, I don't know. I think again, cotton, especially if I'm going shacket, maybe a heavier denim, especially if I'm sizing up. I would put bigger buttons on it, and I could even crop it if I wanted to. You know, I don't have to keep that shirt tail hem if I want. I could crop that and do, I don't know, even like a red kind of denim or a cream lighter weight denim would be really pretty. And make like a nice little jacket. So I would use the Vernon again on that. And then for the Grafton dress, I would use something with print, something that incorporates all those colors that I've just pulled in. I don't know why I'm going with like a red, white, and blue theme in my head, but I am. So we're just going to stick with it on this one. So a fabric that kind of embraces all of those things, that would be really cute with the little Vernon jacket or even just the shirt tied in front of it. And I think for that version, I would do something that has a little bit more sleeve, maybe even the more relaxed top that has, there's one that's kind of, I think like a boat neck, but it's the more relaxed bodice, and do the straight skirt on that, in that print. I think that would be, and again, maybe like a short sleeve. It's like a grown-on sleeve on that more relaxed one, but you can put a sleeve on it. I don't know, maybe I would just leave it, just that grown-on, and not add the additional sleeve to it. But again, in something that is a pattern that pulls all those things together. I could tie the denim version or the chambray version of the Vernon over it for a cute little look, or that other Vernon that I'm going to make a little bit boxier could be cute as a jacket. Okay. This is fun. If I were someone that was going into an office and I needed a little bit more buttoned up look, more professional look, I would choose 3 other patterns. So starting with the top, I would go with the Concord t-shirt. Now, the Grafton would be an excellent option actually, but I wanted to pick 3 different patterns just to give you some like look. But you could totally do the Grafton as well and use that as a t-shirt and also knit dresses. That would be a fantastic thing to do. I love the Concord is my go-to t-shirt. It's a fitted t-shirt, which is my preference in most things. Occasionally I want a slouchier t-shirt, but for the most part, a fitted t-shirt is what I prefer. And most of my t-shirts are Cashmerette Concords. It has beautiful neckline options. There's like a higher neckline, there's a scoop neckline, there's a V neckline. It's got a few different length options. It's kind of got a cropped length. It's got like a mid-hip and then one that's a little bit longer. It's got a stylized like curved hem that you could do. It's got a sleeve that you could roll up if you want. It comes with all the sleeve lengths, you know, your short, your 3/4, your long sleeve of a fitted sleeve. Just a really great base pattern. Again, it's my go-to t-shirt pattern. I love it. So I would pick the Concord for my first pattern. That would be great to make yourself really kind of all your tops. I would just do, I like a good t-shirt. I think it can look very professional. So I would make 3 different versions of a t-shirt, maybe a cropped one, maybe even all of them. Maybe one with more of a 3/4 length sleeve or a long sleeve, depending if your office is cold, that sort of thing. Changing up the neckline. And we'll get back into the fabric here in just a minute. So that's what I would choose for my top, the Concord. You can make so many different t-shirts, go so many different ways. For the bottoms, absolutely the Miriam trousers. This is also fantastic if you have a fluctuating waistline. So this is a very tailored pair of pants, a straight leg, although if you wanted to make it wide leg, you could totally do that. I have a video on the channel on how to make a straight leg into a wider leg pattern, and it's pretty easy, but it's fitted through the hips. You have the option for welt pockets in the back if you would like, and then there's the option for a straight waistband or a fluctuating waistband, and this fluctuating waistband is genius. So it looks like a straight waistband, but it's got a little hidden elastic that's in there. This is kind of a take off Menswear Patterns. It's got a zip fly. It's a very beautiful tailored pair of pants. You can make this in any kind of like medium weight woven. You could make this in a cotton twill if you wanted for a more casual pair, depending on your office scenario. You could make this in a wool suiting very easily. You could do it in a silk if you wanted to, like a heavier weight, like a silk Dupioni or Shantung if you wanted to go fancy. You could make it in a rayon twill, again, cotton twill. Wool would be beautiful. I would line them again if you were making them in wool. This pattern does not have lining included, but I also have a tutorial on the channel for how to do that. If you are wanting to line a pair of pants that don't include a lining pattern, it's very easy. And the pattern, the tutorial I'm showing you is how to do that on a pair of pants that have a zip fly in the front. So if you're curious, I do have that tutorial. Anyway, I would definitely use the Miriam trousers. I think that they are very tailored and yes, would make a great one. For the other bottoms, skirt, and we're gonna go with the Upton. We are choosing the Upton for the expansion pattern. It comes, you can make a whole bunch of different dresses. You can make, all those dresses can also be made as skirts. I like a fuller skirt. I just think it's a lot of fun. So I would choose one of the skirt options and you could do whatever length that you wanted to. It comes in that expansion pattern does come with a few different skirt lengths. I think the pleated is really beautiful. So for this scenario, we're going with the pleated and we're going to go with the kind of the midi T-length look on that. I think that that is a wonderful little professional look. Now for the topper, so those are my 3 patterns that I've picked. For a topper, I don't have a topper pattern for this one. If you wanted, Cashmerette does have the Auburn blazer. This is kind of the bonus pattern. Now the Auburn blazer is a gorgeous blazer pattern and I've seen nothing but beautiful blazers come from it. However, it only comes in the original size range, which is size 12 to 32. So it does not come in their full size range, which is the 0 to 32. So this is only if you fall into that 12 to 32 pattern, is this an option? But she has a class over there on how to make your tailored blazer. It's really beautiful. So if you're wanting to go full on suit, I would definitely think about that one. But for this illustration, we are just using the Concord, the Miriam, and the Upton. You can get so many different versions out of this. All right, so for those Concords, again, I think I would make 2 that are solid, a light solid and a dark solid. So if you're someone, in my color palette, that would be a ivory and a navy blue, or an olive green. Completely up to you. So that is what I would choose for 2 of the tops. So whether that is maybe a short sleeved one and a 3/4 length one or long sleeve. We'll say the dark one I'm going to make in a V-neck and I'm going to make it long sleeved. My cream colored one, I'm going to make it 3/4 length and I'm going to make it a scoop neck. And then for my third one, I would like something with a little bit of pattern. So I could, again, do a stripe. I could do maybe a polka dot if I'm feeling it, but something with a little bit of color. So in this, red is kind of my standard like statement color. So we're going to go with red here. I'm really big on the red, white, and blue, I guess, right now. So we're going to say it is red and it is red and white stripe that I'm using. Short sleeved, I maybe do the higher neck. And I will say, someone with a large bust, the higher neck is not technically the preferred neckline. It's not a super, super high neck. It is still very flattering on a large bust. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about purchasing the Concord. But I would do the cropped version on this one. Again, we're using cropped very loosely. All right, and then for my bottoms, again, going with the Miriam trousers, I think I would go with wool. And I would keep something, I think I would go for a pattern, like maybe a navy and white houndstooth or a navy and white Glen plaid or, gosh, maybe like a menswear inspired, but a navy, I say navy and white, like maybe a navy and cream, but something, yeah, menswear inspired like that, a check of some sort, again, houndstooth, yeah, I think I would be very tempted to do something along those lines in a wool, and I would line them. And again, I have that tutorial. Excuse me. And then for the skirt, I think I would go with something yeah, I think I would go with something a little bit more subdued and go with like a navy. Again, maybe a wool. If I am in an office setting, a lot of times they're cold. I think I would maybe do a navy blue, wool suiting with the pleats, because I think that would look just beautiful with all of my tops. And I also think that the red and white stripe, I would totally wear that with a navy and white, you know, houndstooth or plaid of some sort. I love some print mixing, and not crazy, but I would totally wear that to an office setting. And I would also pair, obviously all three tops could go very easily with my skirt as well in a navy blue. Now I would want to make sure that my navy blue t-shirt is really close to my navy blue skirt. They don't have to be the same, but very similar. You know, I don't want a warmer navy t-shirt with a cooler navy skirt. I would want it at least tonally very, very similar. So as close as possible, even though you're using two different fabrics. And then for the dress, I would do something with a little pizzazz and probably pick something red. Now, I think I would make a sleeveless version. Now, this pattern absolutely comes with sleeved bodices as well as sleeveless. I have made the Upton. I made myself a Halloween dress out of like a novelty quilting cotton that I wore it over the sleeveless version, wore it over a turtleneck, and it worked. It was just really cute. So, very easy to layer, and I think I would do that for the dress because you could layer your t-shirts underneath it for something a little bit different. But I would go with red, and I think I would go with something solid, and I might, you know, do something a little bit more relaxed, like maybe a rayon twill or a cotton twill, something that's, you know, I could do wool. Because the bodice of this is lined. I would make sure that I lined the bodice in something slick because a lot of times when I'm doing a sleeveless dress, I'll line in a cotton lawn. But if I'm wearing it over something, so if I'm wanting to layer it under these t-shirt options, I would totally use something like a rayon Bimberg silk if you wanted to get real fancy, like a silk charmeuse or a China silk would be beautiful. But something that would be a little bit slipperier underneath for the lining of that bodice. But yeah, I would go with something red. And if you wanted to throw in the bonus item, you'd have two options. I would either make it to match, I think I would make the crop version. So the auburn comes in regular, like just a regular mid-hip blazer or cropped, and I think I'd be very tempted to do the crop just for something kind of different, but I think it'd be beautiful with the skirt. So I would either make it out of the wool that matches the pants or the wool that matches that skirt, so that you've got kind of a fun little suit, because either one of those would go with the skirt or the pants as well. You could wear the navy with the pants or the plaid with the skirt. So that is what I would do. So the kind of cheating a little bit on the work one, because I did throw in that extra one, the auburn, as an extra. But again, completely up to you on how you want to do that. And again, the auburn does only come in the 12 to 32 size range. So it's not available to all the sizes like all of the other patterns are. So that is how I would build two separate capsules using just 3 patterns. So if nothing else, again, go check out that sale. This is good for all the patterns in the collection. But if nothing else, maybe this will give you some inspiration and some ideas for maybe some patterns that are already in your catalog, especially the ones that have a lot of variations, on ways you can think outside the box a little bit and see how you could make a module or a capsule using just 3 patterns as well. All right, whatever you come up with, let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear it. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys again next time. Happy sewing.